Hello, hi, and welcome to this episode of the Mandy Meyer Podcast. As per usual, you know what this podcast is about. It's just me, Mandy Meyer, sitting here talking into a microphone, recording it, hoping that it is recording, and then just chatting in general about health and fat loss stuff and how you can create a healthier lifestyle. And it's just me sitting here sharing some tips, advice, strategies, and also a big thing that I do with this podcast, or that I want to do, or that I want to try and do, or that I have been trying to do, is really help you believe in yourself, because it all starts with that strong mindset, right? So that's what I try and do, is just say, you know what, you are 100% capable of doing that. And if I'm your only reminder, or the only person that reminds you that, you are 100% capable of achieving not only health and fat loss goals, but absolutely all your goals, then I am super happy that you decided to listen to this episode of the podcast. Not only this episode, but the entire podcast. Today, I'm going to chat about all the small things. And no, not the Blink 182 song. I'm going to chat about absolutely all the small things that make a massive difference in your health and fat loss progress, because oftentimes people believe that it's like all these drastic things that need to be done, and then it's just like you're making it more overwhelming for yourself, more daunting for yourself, because it's like, oh, I have to do this and that, and it has to be drastic measures and whatever else goes with it. But in this episode, it's going to be really short and sweet and just straight to the point, and tell you that, you know what, it's all the small things that add up. Now, when I tell people, I'm like, yeah, but it's just the small things. It's just about hitting those step targets, right? Making a step target for yourself that is achievable, because you want to be able to achieve it. It's about saying, okay, where can you make small changes by adding an extra couple of veggies to your plan on a regular basis? Or, like I said, just the small things. But one thing we need to remember is, yes, whilst the small things are, for the lack of better words, easy to execute, it's also those bloody small things that are easy not to do. Why? Because most of the times we're like, well, that just seems too good to be true. It can't be that simple. I use the word simple because easy is not the right word. Simple, the concept is simple, but easy, no, we know it's difficult. But again, when I say it's those small things that add up, people will be like, oh, but it's easy, for the lack of better words, to smash an extra 100 steps per day. Yes, but you know what? It's also easy not to do it, because you're like, it's such a small thing. It's not going to make a major difference. So what's the point of doing it? And that's where you need to be vigilant. That's where you need to be mindful. And that's where you need to remind yourself that all the small things, those are the things that add up. And collectively, those small things are going to bring you massive, massive change. But again, be very, very careful not to overlook the small things, because you think, the small things don't matter. Like I said, easy to do, but easy not to do as well, right? So again, a silly example is taking the stairs instead of taking the lift. A lot of people will be like, oh, but that's so easy to do. But how many times have you taken the lift instead of taking the stairs? Because like I said, it's easy not to do as well. Where I tell people, you know what, let's look at starting to make smarter calorie swaps, for example. So if you go and eat out, you want to have the steak and chips. Would you be able to potentially substitute the chips with a salad, for example? Okay. Now, again, if we look at it, it's a simple sort of concept of substituting your chips with a salad. Simple concept, but simple and easy to overlook as well, because in that moment in time, you'll be like, oh, well, it's only a handful of chips. What's it really going to matter? You overlook it, you have the chips instead of having the salad, boom, there's 600 calories, for example. And now a lot of people will think, okay, but if I remove those 600 calories, it's only 600 calories. But all those calories that you have substituted, and I use calories for example, or really it can be absolutely anything. All those calories that you have substituted start adding up. They start adding up. They start adding up. And it's all those small things, like I said, they just make a major, major difference at the end of the day. So don't ever overlook the small things. If walking extra 10 steps, right, is doable, and you can walk past the bathroom at work and then walk back and then go for your whip, sweeps, woo, which is a wee for those who weren't sure. Then go for your wee. That's an extra 20 steps that you've got. That's something small. That's a lot of people will be like, oh, what's the point of even doing it, right? And that's what I mean by easy to do, but easy not to do as well. So again, tune in, like hone in on the small things and have a look at every single little area where you can make a small tweak or a small change, because those small things, fuck it, those are the things, those small things are the things that are going to collectively, they're going to add up and they're going to add up and they're going to add up. And those are the things that are going to bring you the major results at the end of the day. And like I always say, you're given that sort of choice of, am I going to lie on the couch for an hour and watch Netflix? Or am I going to go for that 15-minute walk and then come home and chill and watch Netflix? In that moment, like I say, a 10 or a 15-minute walk, it seems easy enough, but then a lot of people will be like, oh, but it's only 10 or 15 minutes, so what's the point of doing it? So then it becomes easy to not do it, right? That's what we don't want to do. We want to look for those small opportunities. We want to create those small opportunities. You want to start working on that mindset, knowing that all the small things add up. And I can tell you now, I don't do anything drastic. Okay, a lot of the times it's just the small little things that I do on a daily basis. I show up every single day and I execute the small things. I make small little tweaks, small little changes. And in that moment, you might not necessarily see this major progress, So again, it's about setting your expectations, saying it's the small things that are going to add up and add up and add up. And it's just about trusting the process and trusting that every small little change that you make, every small little tweak that you make, no matter how irrelevant it feels in that moment, those are the things that are going to ultimately lead to your amazing, amazing progress. Don't ever give up on your goals. Don't ever give up pushing. Don't ever think that the small little changes that you are making on a consistent basis aren't working, because I can tell you now, as someone who has been through it, I can tell you now that those changes, you are going to see phenomenal progress if you just stick to making those small changes and not overlook them. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you like I usually do. Keep smiling, keep laughing, and keep being kind to one another. Much love, your friend who knows the small things add up, Mandy.